Hey everybody, this is Mike at Absorb Self-Reliance. Came out last night to have myself a little camp over. Wasn't nothing spectacular, wasn't nothing amazing. Didn't really film anything last night. It's kind of late when I got here. I stretched out a hammock. I stretched out a tarp, and I brought my folding cot with me. I really have starting to get into that, especially with car camping. It only takes the whole time of setting up a sleep system. Took me less than 5 minutes and I was good to go. That's tarp and the bottom, and I was good to go. No trying to find trees that were stretched out long enough or short enough. Kind of getting used to that thing a little bit. Did a little bit of camp cooking last night. I don't think I got any video footage of that, but if I did, you'll see it in the video. So stick around. I hope you guys enjoy this video and maybe we get some good stuff today. We won't know until the video airs, so I don't know what I'll get.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old here, older than the trees, younger than the mountain, blowing like a breeze. Country road, take me home to a place where I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home.
You can see there's my camp set up. That's how I slept last night. I did get a little bit of video footage last night of a welcomed visitor, but unwanted visitor in most cases. We'll show that video footage here in just a second. It was kind of unique. It was pleasant to see it, and to see it so close, you know, a foot away when I first get up was kind of odd, but he was friendly and we were enjoying ourselves together, I guess, or at least he was enjoying the Slap Yo Mama sodium that I left out. Nothing more than just a camp cot. You get them at Walmart. The Coleman Ridgeline 3 comes with a pad, $54. I enjoyed it. It sleeps very good. It's very good to have. I've got just a little old camp pillow that'll stuff back in. This little lamp light right here, they still sell them at Walmart. They're Ozark Trail. This one's 5 years old at least. It's had 2 sets of batteries in it, and it's probably had over 200 hours worth of playtime on it. These are just some little old fleece blankets. I brought 2 of them. It was 65 last night. The great camp chair. Where all the great memories are made. Actually, it's where I set my big old fat tail down. Moore's pot with a cast iron skillet and the Pathfinder cup. What else can you ask for? I had roasted corn. I had roasted it in the silk and the stalk and everything of itself, or the husk. I had mashed potatoes, some chuck eye steaks, and some garlic toast. Alright, so we said we was going to have a little chat. Here's where I'm at with a lot of the stuff that I see and a lot of the stuff that I go out and I do. For, we'll say 35 years to be a safe number, because I don't really know when I started going out into the woods. I mean, we practically lived in a neighborhood that had 5 patches of about 3 acres of woods. We lived there. That's where we were at. We were kicked out of the house at a very young age. As soon as we could walk, get out, you're making too much noise. That's how I grew up. Now, many of you guys already know that. Many of you guys grew up that same way, and many of you girls grew up that same way. So it's not a rant or of that nature. It's me going into and explaining why some videos are the way they are and why some of them are not. And some guys will be like, well, you don't really have to make an explanation, and I get that, but I wanted to. When I first started making videos I think one of the first ones that I made, I went on about a 3-day hike down the Pinhoti Trail. Now during that time, I made a lot of primitive things that I enjoyed making, those things that I enjoyed doing, and that was one of the best trips that I've ever had on video. But I only had 30-second clips, and the rest of them were just pictures. Now I still have that video, and I'm not sure if it's uploaded to where you guys can watch it. If it is, I don't know, it's like a 3-day hiking trip, about 3 or 4 years ago. But I watched it again the other day, and I reminisced as I remember doing all of those things. And it put me into an understanding of what I have done wrong for me. See, what I did to myself, not anybody else, I did it to myself. I started watching more videos because I wanted to broaden my horizon and learn more. And I started learning those things that I thought I needed to know. And before long, I could tie 40 knots that I still to this day have not used. Why? For 35 years before that, I lived without those knots. I've learned how a Pharisee, whatever that word is, I learned how those work properly. Prior to that, I never owned one. Flint and steel was popular because it was just a fascinating thing to do. The Bic lighter was number one. I mean, that or matches, whatever we could get our hands on. Bow drill, not one of my strong points. But I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked on it and I worked on it because I thought I had to know this thing to be a true woodsman. And I realized that those things are all key parts, but I wanted to make videos and start showing, and then I became a competitor to myself. And I don't care for that because I missed all of this here. Just sitting out here. Now, I didn't walk out here. Well, I did. I walked about 16 feet from the front of my truck and it seemed where it was sitting at. But for 15 hours now, I've been outside. So I thought about that. Is there a difference? Is there? You've seen me over there, now I'm over here. There's no difference. It's what I realized. I didn't need to go out and find the most remote place for me to enjoy the outside. For me to suck in all of the fresh air that I could get. I didn't need to be where no one else has been in order for me to boil water, in order for me to hang a tarp, to set a hammock up, for me to build a fire. None of that was relevant. But I thought for so many years that's where I was at. So I didn't enjoy it because I didn't have the time to go do that. and that's just that was what this whole thing is about. For me, is realizing that I don't have to be where no one else has been to be an outdoorsman. And you guys already know that. But I lost it in between trying to find something else. Now that's just me blowing this out so that you guys can understand. I've bought every new cotton picking gear out there that I've seen under review. I have bought nearly, every old Alice pack there is out there in 5 years. I never had those things before I started going in the woods, and I do not have them today. I have given those away to those that were less fortunate to have them. I have sold some of them on eBay. I have minimalized, or minimalist, whatever you call it. My water's boiling. Hold on, guys. Boiling outside, and it's going to boil faster over there than it will over here. So hopefully I didn't lose my train of thought, as I have many times before. But everything you do outdoors, whether it's in your backyard, whether it's up on Mount Everest, it has its skill sets and it has its levels. Would I take off today to go to Mount Everest? No, I don't have the skill set for that. I don't know what it's like there. I've never been there. I don't know what to expect. I would train for that. I would get as good of advice as I could get out there for that specific thing. Do I know what it's like in other countries? Yes. I know what it's like to wake up in the middle of the night and feel like you're being carried off by mosquitoes the size of that mountain house that I'm cooking. I know what it's like to be in the woods and know that bear are within sightful distance the day before. Do I know how to react to a swamp? I'm not familiar with a swamp. I would have to go and learn that. So I guess all of this, to break it down into a smaller form of where I'm going with it all is if any of you guys ever felt like you're where I'm at today or where I was this past week, just go out and enjoy outdoors. Don't worry about the Moore's Kachansky pot because it's the best pot out there. We lived without Moore's pot for how many years? What did they do? Nothing against that pot, just an example, because it's a damn good pot. Very good. I ain't selling it. You're not getting it. And if that company that made it don't make them anymore, I'm going to have to live without it. I chased the mighty viewer. Whatever was hot, that's where I went. And I got burned out, is what I did. So the videos that you guys are going to see are going to be my queer of who I am, what I do, and how I do it. And if it gets to the point to where I can't enjoy filming it, then I can't make the video because I can't take me away from who I am. And that was the thing. I think there's so many good products that are out there today that it's been flooded with it. And I don't want to say this. There's nothing out there that I cannot go buy. I can probably buy one of every flipping thing that is on the market. Unfortunately, I don't choose to have those anymore. When I started out in this, and we'll pause it, and then we'll go into how I started and what I started with. What I started with was spoons that I took from my mama's kitchen. From a pot that I found or got, stole. I don't know how I got it. But that was my first set of camping equipment. Bed sheets was my first tarp. Reminiscing here, going back. My first backpack was a flour sack. Didn't have a strap on it. My first mode of transportation was a bicycle. Now me and Chris, Michael, several other kids in the neighborhood would leave out on a Friday afternoon during the school fall months, and we wouldn't come home until Monday or Sunday, sorry. And whatever we took with us was canned goods, flour. We didn't have snacks. You know, Little Debbie's wasn't something that was popular back then. Well, it was, but it wasn't for the poor folk. And for 2.5 days, we pedaled those bicycles about 6.5 miles to a creek called Duck Creek, which is where my grandmother and them lived. And when we got out there, we would stretch those bed sheets and whatever quilt that we could get on that bicycle. And that was our camping. And we fished. We would take bread ties and tie our fishing poles, break them down, and zip tie them, or not zip tie, but bread tie them to the bicycle. We came up with every flipping way there was to do what we needed to do without anything. Now, as time went on, I got older and I bought knives. And I don't know if any of you guys remember or not, but you couldn't get your hand on an old timer because that was one of the best knives that was out there at the time. We found those Rambo knives that were $4.99 or $10.99 that was made out of plastic or what, I don't know what the heck it was made out of. I mean, you would be better off cutting on the spine than you was on the other. But here I am, 50 years later. Made it. As time went on, backpacks were something that we could get. As time went on, more and more and more and more things became available to us with dollars. No, the 202 was the reel of choice, Zebco. That's all we could find. And then Chris got a 33. And we all needed a 33 from then on because you could catch bigger fish with a 33. And as we got older, we went to bigger places that had bigger fish. The 33 still wouldn't do as good. We needed the 404. And some of you guys are probably sitting here saying, what in the God's creation is this boy yakking about? It all leads up to where I'm at today. It's who made me who I am, not everything else. But it leads me to believe who I am today is from you guys as well. I have learned that a Ferricium rod is a good thing to have. Doesn't take much room. It's good to keep. It's good to have with you. Now, what made all of that transpire into whatever it is I enjoy you guys and girls. Y'all have been a big part of my life for about 4 years. Seeing people grow, seeing channels grow, seeing new things introduced on the market. But I've put myself in a different mindset now. I don't need to keep up with you guys. I need to keep up with your channels. I need to keep up with who you are because you're friends, your family. But I don't need the new whatever that just came out because it's something that someone says is great. Now, it may be a good thing, but I'm spending more time on the internet searching to buy that thing than I am being in the woods using that thing or that item. So here it is, a Sunday afternoon. Beautiful outside. Slept good last night. Very good. Had a raccoon visit me. Real close. I mean, real close. By the time I got the camera on, I couldn't focus in on him because he moved away. But I think I got some video footage of it. That's what I missed. I missed all of that. Because I didn't have time. Because I didn't have time to load up all of that stuff. So I take it to the woods and show it off. None of this is directed to anybody, so please don't take it that way. It's just, it made it for who I am. The things that I enjoyed from being a little child to an adult, I have always pursued the next new item. And in that brief moment in time when I had nothing, you know, I've had a lot of old camping gear for a long time. A lot of it got chewed up by rats by leaving it in the building, disposed. A lot of it was thrown away because it was not as good as the new stuff. And then, God, how I wished I had that silver canteen, because it lasted for 10 years. You know, sometimes we let life zip past us, and this could be one of those things, you know. Is it going to get away from me before I get to enjoy it? Am I going to work the 9 to 5, the 8 to 4, the 12 to 12, the 7 to 7, get 2 days off, tired one, got to go to work? It is. It's going to be that. Life is good. But it's what you make out of it. You make out of it. Well, Mountain House is served with a Mountain Dew. Let's just see if it's any good. First bite don't count. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had better. But you know what? In the end, I'm blessed. I'm eating. Thank you, Lord. Because I mean, without Him, none of this is possible for me. This trip wouldn't have been possible. I'd like to thank my wife. She's never once ever complained. She's more or less encouraged. Go. I hope that she understands how much it means to me. And my son, I ask him each time he wants to go, but he's living his life at this point. He's 8. And any opportunity that I get to give him, I give that to him. Any opportunity that he has to go, then we're going to go. But I'm not going to force feed him anything and tell him that you're going to have to learn all of this, because you don't. It's good to know. It's good to have. It's good to do. It's good for the soul. It's not man-made, all of it. You know, the roads are man-made, but the trees, they possibly could have planted some of these. But the rest of it feels good to breathe that fresh air. I would say, though, of about 6, 7 varieties that I've tried, the breakfast one is probably the most enjoyable. This one would be ranked about 3rd or 4th. I will have a full belly when this one is done. But I'm gonna eat that. And I tell you what's scary, though. I just seen it. Anything that is best by January 2047, Lord have mercy, it cannot be good for you. God dang. I just realized that. But anyway, in the same token, I hope I did not bore anybody with this video. It's going to be a lengthy video. I've done made my mind up. I'm going to put all this stuff together just the best way that I can, because it's all I know how to do. It's the best that I can do. And I don't expect everyone to sit and watch the full video all the way through. We have pressures and times and restrictions, and I get that. But in a nutshell, I appreciate every video viewer that I have. I appreciate the phone calls, the emails, the texts, anything where you show your support. I do appreciate it. I try to get back to each and every one of you as much as possible. I do have one email in specific that I have not responded back. This gentleman broke me down. I'm not going to mention his name, but I've not responded back, and it's not that I'm ignoring you. I have to find the right words to say and know how to say them. You inspire me. You have, I can't even explain it today on this video, but if you'll know, I mean, it was a lengthy one, and it was right here. I mean, it was true. I mean, he just, I appreciate it. I mean, you really, and it's amazing how just something like a video or a group of people watching videos can touch someone like it. We all have our place on YouTube, and I did a video on it. But thank you for that email, and I promise y'all, in due time, very close, you will get a very good email response from how it made me feel. But, and I get quite a few emails quite often thanking me, you know. Alan Hobbs made a comment of someone that watched his videos, and I'm thinking they may not be with us anymore. But the things that he does and goes out, let them reminisce of the things that they could not go and do anymore, or the things that they enjoyed. So that's something that you can't buy that. It's you just can't buy it. I mean, there's no purchasable amount to it. But thank you guys for watching my videos. Thank you for all the support you give me, and my little adventures in my knife making, just the little things, and my new thing, making flutes. It'd be alright if I could play it. Complicated instrument for me, but I can make you one. But thank you guys. Thank every one of you for all the video responses, all the views that I've gotten over these last 4 years. I hope I didn't rant too much in that video about baloney being this and that, because it all has its place, and it does. It just wasn't for me. I chased the next dream, and I'm thankful that I got that opportunity to do that. But I'm going back to where I came from. The things that I did, how I tie a knot, how I hang a hammock, how I hang a thing. But I'm not going to do tutorials on how I do it because it's not correct according to the other 25 million people that say that it is. But it's worked for me. And one last quote from someone was, don't tell a man that he can't do something while he is sitting in front of you doing it. Just because it's not the way you do it, not because the way I do it, doesn't mean that it's the wrong way to do it. So with all of that, I appreciate all of your views. Again, I've said it so many times now. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for sticking around with the video. And thank you for being a part of my life and my family's life. With that, God bless, and I will see you guys on another video. I promise, as long as I'm here. Mountain Dew. Only in the mountains can you do the do.